Hi, I'm Chris Roselli.
And I'm Anna Magidson. Welcome to Western Window, a show made for you by students at Western Washington University.
This time we'll find out more about a Western alum whose business is growing in unexpected ways.
We listen to music created without instruments.
We'll follow some Western students in a different kind of pitching contest.
So stay with us as we explore our world through Western Window.
Chris Brown is a 2012 Western Washington University alumnus, a Marine Corps veteran, and the chair of the Whatcom County Veterans Advisory Board. He's also the director of Growing Veterans, a nonprofit that aims to empower military veterans to use their skills and talents to support the local community by growing tasty vegetables.
My name is Chris Brown, and I'm the director at Growing Veterans. Our mission is to empower military veterans to be responsible stewards, leaders, and active participants in the community. This year, our farm has really been the platform for that. We've got veterans that come out on a regular basis, and we encourage volunteer members to come and volunteer with us too. We want to show the community that veterans still have something to offer, but also show veterans the same thing.
Sometimes it's nice to put schoolwork out of our minds and kind of clear our head. There's some beauty that has to do with the environment, and there's something beautiful about planting a seed and seeing it go through that full cycle from, as they call it, seed to table. You know, we get to see the whole process of this food go to our table, and food's that common language that bonds us again all together. So it's just been, that has got to be my part that touches me the most, is seeing that seed to table aspect of farming.
When you realize that you're putting a seed in the ground and bringing life into the earth, and then either taking that and feeding yourself or feeding someone else with it, you're sustaining their life. And you know, being around all this natural life cycle stuff, it really can be powerful for somebody that's been around so much death and destruction and nastiness. And so, you know, I think that alone can be powerful if somebody takes the time to think about it.
I'll tell you what, when I got out of the service, you know, it was kind of a different experience. I had no safety net at all. You know, I got out and I had no medical, no dental, no nothing, and no job. You know, I mean, you're really kind of adrift, and you know, things came together eventually. But I tell you what, if I could have had something like this, you know, to have people who have experience reintegrating, kind of be with them and see what they do, and you know, be able to use their advice and their connections and everything, it would have made it a lot easier, a lot more smoother. So
I see people who show up here without a lot of friendships, and then a month later they're going to the shooting range with their 6 new friends that they made here, and they're all buddies. And I see people show up sometimes pretty fresh from coming back from overseas and kind of shell-shocked and not knowing where they fit in and really anxious, and then a couple months later they're smiling and laughing and like throwing carrots at someone in the field.
I think anytime you're working with your hands, and that's something that we all did a lot in the military, you find a kind of peace. There's an easy rhythm to doing something like separating cloves of garlic and talking, and having a purpose is one of the key ingredients in transitioning our veterans back into the civilian world. And so I think Growing Veterans helps the community because it gives veterans and supporters a purpose.
We have to take this for our biology class 101. Instead of taking the test about biology, we get to go out here and do some volunteer work.
It's nice to know that like what we've actually done, like how it was all weeded over, and now it's actually, I mean, I actually feel good about what we've done so far today in the short time that we've been here, so it makes us feel good.
You know, being physical and getting exercise, it'll often help relieve some of the the extra energy that comes along with anxiety issues. And so some vets are able to sleep a little bit better at night after spending a day out there on the farm. Sleep issues is a really big one for vets that have been overseas. You know, I notice in myself at least, I'm getting way better sleep ever since I started farming. Well, this is our first official season. We started building some of the foundation groundwork in this fall, winter of 2012. We started our first official season in January, February timeframe of 2013. We've been producing all year, doing a limited amount of fundraising, and this winter we're making plans to do everything a little bit better and bigger next year.
We've had a super successful first year. We've had a lot of veterans involved with the project, and we've grown enough food and applied for enough grants to pay all of our salaries and rent and everything for the whole year. So for a first year nonprofit or a first year farm, I think that's pretty phenomenal. Awesome. Yeah.
It's been almost surprising to me how much ownership veterans seem to get from this. And it's not only surprising, but it's encouraging that what we're creating really has some value. And so we hope to just, you know, continue pushing and make it even bigger and better.
A cappella, an Italian phrase that means in the manner of the church, is performed without any instrumental accompaniment. For some students here at Western, a cappella allows them to make beautiful music with just their voices.
Find yourself a girl and settle down. Live a simple life in a quiet town. Steady as she goes, steady as she goes, steady as she goes, steady as she goes.
To me, a cappella is having a good time. I'm harmonizing with my friends with no backup music.
Basically, it just means without instrumentation.
1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the beat around. Love to hear percussion. Turn it upside down. Turn it around. I love to hear percussion. I love to hear it.
You can clap, you can stomp your feet, you can beatbox, you can sing. Pretty much the human body is your instrument, and it's kind of amazing what people can do with it.
Usually we start out with some warm-ups where we basically just build a chord with our voices. Just make sure everyone has the same vowel, and you know, your mouth shape is all the same, because it's like the weirdest little things can completely throw off tuning. On the one hand, you want to blend really well and make sure the group has a solid sound, but at the same time you're trying to imitate instruments. So it can't all just be do's and ba's and whatnot. Every once in a while you have to do like some jams.
Dum dum for a guitar, like dum 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 dum, or a bass dum 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 dum. There's just things that you can do with your lips and your body that just makes it sound exactly like an instrument.
I can see no way, I can see no way. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, whoa. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, whoa. And it's hard to dance with the devil on your back, so shake 'em off.
If you listen to any part individually, it just winds up sounding ridiculous.
I got 1 foot on the platform.
But in the song, you know, it builds to something. tones to their voices. So figuring out which people blend well together and which people don't, so that you can put them in opposite sides of the group.
You have to really listen to each other and have to balance all those elements. It gets pretty complicated.
Regrets collect like old friends.
You know, the reason people get into acapella, and the reason I still do acapella, is just because
we're like family.
I love performing.
There's a really unique kind of joy in just singing together with your friends.
This is what people put their heart and soul into. My girls and Undefined, we get together and sing because we love it and we love each other and we want to spread joy to everyone through music.
Release your inhibition.
It's a pretty unique talent, I think, to be able to sing a cappella music.
Take an innovative business idea from concept to launch in just 54 hours, and then present that idea to a panel of judges and win fabulous prizes. It's Startup Weekend, and Western students, in collaboration with other entrepreneurs, designers, and developers, are proving that a little competition can help grow the next big idea.
Based on her experience as a tribal judge, Fairhaven College's Raquel Montoya-Lewis has been appointed to the Federal Advisory Committee on Juvenile Justice. Her role is to represent the interests of tribal youth, as the committee advises Congress and the President on policy for juvenile justice.
Well, I think for the most part, many tribes have very underdeveloped systems with respect to juveniles. So their approach has been to treat juveniles the same way they treat adults. And so most tribes need to work on figuring out how to tailor their systems specific to the needs of youth, because they are very different in terms of how they respond to interventions. There are some tribes that have really worked on that and have some model programs. But overall, that's a big issue. The justice systems themselves are not set up to handle juveniles. The second issue is that there isn't a lot of funding for tribes in terms of working with youth specifically. So funding is always an issue. If you want to have a new program to work with youth, finding the funding to do that is a struggle. So those are the two, I think, the most significant issues. And then there are other issues that impact youth all across the country that also impact tribal kids, which are, missing school, truancy. All the studies show that if you're reading below your grade level fairly early on in school, that's linked to continued truancy, and then that's also linked to higher rates of delinquency, and that's connected to higher rates of drug and alcohol abuse, and so those issues impact tribal youth as well.
Jason Dahlman worked with Raquel on the Lummi Juvenile Justice Project.
So I think that her approachability and accessibility are really the strengths that she will bring to the Federal Advisory Panel. Frankly, Raquel could probably write her own paycheck with consulting on the state level and the national level if she chose to do that. And I think it speaks volumes that she has chosen to take another position at the Nooksack tribe as the chief judge there. And she makes that conscious decision to be in the trenches, so to speak.
I had somebody that I'd seen repeatedly for years and years and years, and I said, you're not a bad person. This is not about whether or not you're a good or bad person. And it was an offhand comment. This person started crying. I couldn't figure out why. And I said, let's stop for a second. What's going on? And he said, you're the first person to ever say that I'm not a bad person. The first person. And I said, what do you mean? You mean a first judge? What are you talking about? Because this was somebody who I'm sure Judge Snyder was familiar with, that I'd seen a lot, very significant involvement in the legal system across, not just in Whatcom County, across the state. And he said, no. I mean, no one has ever said you're a good person. And I said, are you talking about like your family? Yeah, nobody has ever said that to me. And that was a turning point for me as a judge.
So I really admire the fact that she's able to balance her professional career, which is a judge for an actual tribe here in the Whatcom County, and also a professor here at Fairhaven, and also a mom. I mean, she does it all, and she has a lot to offer every student that comes into contact with her.
Just being in the same classes there and her knowledge base is just really helpful, and really makes me excited to explore the law and the legal system.
So one of the things that I think benefits my students and that helps me to be a better teacher is that I have a lot of real-world experience working with legal systems, working with youth, working with lawyers, and so I get to bring that into the classroom on pretty much a daily basis, and I think that makes what they're studying much more concrete and real for them.
Western sophomore Max Romy loves cross-country running. And when a recent knee injury set Max squarely on the sidelines, a unique opportunity ended up in an innovative and inspirational merging of sport and art. Although unable to contribute as a runner for the Vikings, it hasn't stopped Romy from being a part of the team. Hi, I'm here with Max Romy, who is a Western sophomore, originally from Anchorage, Alaska. Max, like many Western students, has taken on many endeavors here at Western. He is not only a Fairhaven student, but he's also a cross-country runner. And he also does some video production. Max, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing here at Western so far since you've been here.
Well, mostly homework, but in the meantime, I've been doing a little bit of running and a whole lot of editing.
Sure.
Just lots and lots of video, which has been real new to me and super nice.
So before we talk about the video, so you came from Anchorage, Alaska. We get a lot of students from Alaska. I've actually heard the statistic that 1 in every 600 Alaskans is actually a graduate from Western. And so tell us why you chose Western. A lot of Alaskans do that.
It's like the perfect situation for me. You know, it's a small college, but large amount of opportunity. It's in a wonderful town. And then, like, you know, what makes Alaska so special is it's got all this wilderness, and Bellingham's, you know, right close to all kinds of mountains and streams and rivers and the ocean. So it was a really nice kind of like mid situation, especially with like the academics and the athletics. You know, not too hot, not too cold. It was like a perfect mix.
As you said, a Goldilocks scenario,
the Goldilocks
right?
scenario.
Yeah. So you're interested in Fairhaven, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm a student at Fairhaven, which is an interdisciplinary college here at Western. It's a college within the college. And what's wonderful about Fairhaven is they have, you make your concentration. Because I'm not just interested in film or just interested in environmental, which are my two kind of main ones. I want to combine these two into one major, and Fairhaven allows me to do that. And it's been really nice because I'm, you know, I'm taking business classes, I'm taking environmental classes, I'm taking film classes, and then hopefully by the end of my, you know, 4 or 5 years here, I plan to kind of wrap all this together into one major, which I think will really, you know, help kind of prepare me for a relatively new field.
Sure. So I've seen this amazing video that you put together for the cross-country program.
Oh, yeah.
So you did this video because you hurt yourself, is that right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's other reasons, but yeah, for the most part, I've been injured for about 5 months. You know, so I'm just biking and doing a lot of cross-training, which has given me the opportunity to film, you know, with this, what I primarily film with is a quadcopter, which is this little kind of remote-controlled drone. We don't like to call it a drone because it kind of freaks people out, but it is. And so, you know, while they're doing their workout, I'm not with them, and so I can be kind of on the sidelines flying this thing, which has kind of been nice because, you know, even though I can't run with them, I can kind of like sort of be with them. You know, it's annoying to them because it's sort of a remote control weed whacker, and so it sort of makes a lot of sound going around.
Not as peaceful of a run as you're used to having, I guess, then, huh?
No,
yeah,
not for them.
So you run, you're doing film. Tell us what you love about running. What do you love about film?
Well, those are like my two addictions in life, which, you know, they're both pretty healthy. And they really, I don't know, they just kind of came about. You know, they're just something I find that is challenging. Like there's no limit to the challenge that I can find in each, and they're amazingly rewarding. Yeah, I've been doing running. I hated it at first, and it slowly just kind of like it gets you, and then eventually you are a runner, and that's all you can think about and do. And being injured for this like last 5 months has been pretty tough, but it's very rewarding. You know, you're building yourself physically and mentally, and with the team aspect, like the team here is wonderful. Like they are my family, you know, at college, and it's been so great to have. And so yeah, filming is just something I always wanted to go into the movies. And I never thought I'd be making them. I just assumed it was going to be like concept art or maybe graphics or something. But it's been the ability to kind of make your story, sort of show somebody exactly what you want them to see through your eyes has been like really, you know, it's like the ultimate creativity for me.
Sure. Well, you're very good at it.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you know, hope to get better. There's always room for improvement.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate seeing you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Max Romy, one of Western's really amazing students.
That wraps up this episode of Western Window.
Be sure to tune in next time to explore the world at and around Western Washington University.